Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back. Trying out a new setup here, doing a little new camera, a little new microphone. Um, don't deserve this for how little I post and my content to begin with, but I figured I would pop on here and give this a shot, and let's talk a little about the hobby. I kind of hate using the word the hobby, but the Pokemon market. Um, Not just Pokemon, throw in Dragon Ball, One Piece, you name it. TCG, all of that is coming at a peak right now. We're running into the summer lull. I'm sure your YouTube algorithms are chock full of people saying, is now the time to sell? Here's what I'm buying. A lot of opportunities in the market right now. Um, it's a unique spot because some of the previous summer lulls we've had can be the start of maybe longer term pullbacks, a little softening in the market for some cards. Um, Sometimes it's broken into vintage, mid era, and ultra modern, and it gets kind of affected in different ways. But what's different about this time is we're rolling into the 30th, and the 30th anniversary set. I'm sure you've seen the leaks. If not, there's plenty of YouTube channels, Twitter, X, places you could see some of the leaks, and they look fantastic. That set is going to be highly sought after. There's a lot of amazing arts in there. Personally, not a huge fan of the 30th stamp. I feel like they could have done a little better than the 25th version of the stamp with 2-5 and just throwing 3-0 on there. I liked the old 25th Japanese version where it was just that box and said 25 on there. A little less eye popping, but here we are nonetheless. The art is still fantastic. No one knows the pull rates quite yet. If it's anything like the 25th, there'll be plenty of opportunities to get any of the cards you're looking for. I think the Charizard, for an example, peaked at, I don't know, maybe a few $100s right out of the gate. You could pick it up for 90 to 100 at some point in the last 3 years. It really only started popping off in the last year or so, probably once they really announced the 30th and people kind of got a little closer to it. But so you should have a lot of opportunities to get the cards. Some of them, no doubt, will be pumped right out of the gate. Some of those Pikachus. The list goes on. There's a ton of good art in this set. The Mewtwo's, the Mews, Greninja. A lot of fan favorites that people are gonna want to get. But I think the important thing here is, as hard as it is, and as much as everyone talks about it, is to not worry about missing out on their card, because Pokemon knows what the 25th was and what happened and how that kind of softened the market, but it was crazy right out of the gate. And then they kept printing it and they kept printing it. And the set, like an anniversary set, I think, for Pokemon isn't necessarily about creating products that are just going to drive demand crazy and pumping the market up further. This is about getting all of the fans involved, whether it's the show, the games, the card game, collectors, getting all of them what they want in a product and allowing them to celebrate how far Pokemon's come. And so they've had plenty of time, and I think that's why we haven't seen a ton of Destined Rivals. I mean, it pops out, it gets eaten up. Same with Prismatic. Those like really sought after sets, they still go quick, but they've actually printed a lot of them, all things considered. We've seen some cooling with Chaos Rising and Perfect Order, mostly because they're just not the most sought after Pokemon arts and things like that. They have been sitting on the shelf, part of which could be people saving up for the 30th as well. But I think they've had ample time to print a lot of this. Now, what does a lot look like, and does it outpace demand? That's to be seen. I have a good feeling that it will. I have a feeling that at least some of the ancillary products there'll be enough of. I'm sure Sam's Club, Costco will do drops on the UPC. I know a lot of people are worried about the UPC, like the 25th. That was still really hard to get, and I'm sure this still will be hard to get no matter how much they make, because the two promos are incredible. They have a lot of packs, a lot of good cards in those packs, so there should be very strong demand for that product, but I think they know that, and they are going to make a lot of them. Again, the question is, does it outpace demand? How well Pokemon Center does with bots and things like that, and bots maybe are eating a lot too, but I think the demand is there, and mostly because the Pokemon Center products just carry so much extra value in the short term and in the long term. I mean, Pitch Black isn't the most sought after set, and you still gonna cost like 120, 110 bucks to get a Pitch Black Pokemon Center ETB, which is, almost double MSRP of what they sell it at. So anytime there's that opportunity to buy something quick, flip it for double the money, scalpers and people that are trying to make a quick buck are going to be there. And I'm not going to label everyone as a scalper who's doing that, because some people get it, they don't want it, but they know that they can sell it and get something that they do want. And I totally understand the other side of the argument. If you don't want it, don't get it. Leave it for someone who does. And that's a fair argument too. But we live in a capitalist society, and that's just the way it's going to be. So I think they're going to print enough that the price should be manageable. And I'm going to probably leave the UPC out of my general discussion of what the 30th is going to be for products, because I can see a ton of booster bundles. That's the easiest thing for them to print. They should have plenty of those. I could be wrong. I don't have a distributor. I don't know. So that's just my guess and my opinion. So I think you're going to have a chance to get it. So I don't want people to freak out. I mean, we've already seen the GameStop pre-orders, which are ludicrous, but people are that worried that they're not going to get any 30th product, that they're paying close to double MSRP or, whatever, 80% over market, and putting money down for GameStop to hold on to that money until they go need it. I mean, I know it's not, some of them aren't paying full, but some of them are still a percentage. But I personally haven't done that. I could make a video later saying I should have. But for right now, I think there's going to be a chance to get what you need for product. Also, with that being said, the amount that they're printing, it might be better buying singles than what you want at some point until we know how much product. And you go out in Target, and if you can see stuff sitting on the shelf, or you get close enough to restock where you can grab some of that product, then you'll know that the supply is there. And if that supply is there, the card prices will follow down, and you'll be able to pick the cards that you want and buy them for a decent price. But the hard part is going to be if it's anything like the 25th, is patience. And it's going to be, I think the set comes out in late August, early September, and it's going to trickle out for another year, but they're going to print through all of next year, and my guess even further. So there's going to be chances to buy the cards that you want. You can, sort of dollar cost average into that. And what I mean by that is, if you really want the Pikachu, whatever, X, name it. If it comes out and you wait a couple weeks and it drops to $40, if you feel comfortable paying $40 for it and you really want the card, pull the trigger. Could it go down to $20? Yeah, and it could. It probably will. They will probably continue to fall as we go through and the prints keep coming and people are able to get it, more packs get open, more of the cards get pulled. But if you want to buy one at 40, and if it drops to 20 and you really like the card, get another one at 20. Drops to 10, get another one at 10. Whatever you want to do, I would highly recommend taking your time though. I think it's possible a few cards maybe start low and go up. Kind of the market will determine what values some of those are, and some of them will come out lower than they should be, and some are going to come out higher. That's for you to make your guess on which ones are going to do what. But I would highly recommend taking your time, you know, paying a price that you feel comfortable for paying for a card that you want, and get it then. Because I don't think it's going to be a runaway type deal. I think a lot of people are getting rid of some of their cards, maybe to save up for the 30th. Maybe they're seeing the top of the market. Maybe it's not the top of the market. Um, I'm blanking on the English set of it. Rain. I know the other one's like Emeralda. The Rayquaza set. I'm a big Rayquaza fan. I'm definitely going to probably be looking into some of that, but I don't think we've seen a lot of those cards released yet, and that set comes out in a week. So some of the money will get moved into there. They'll also still probably pop out some prismatic, some of the starter sets, Ascended Heroes, still in the realm of possibility of getting product there. I don't think that's out of print yet. So there's plenty of good product that people are going to want money towards, which will take the price down for some of them. Big high chase cards, depending on pull rates, depending on what people like, could change. I'm not a huge fan of those futuristic Mewtwo and Mews, but if they come out like the gold cards, which again, I'm not a fan of the gold cards either, but they're at $300 for some reason. I could see those at $300 as well, and not fluctuating much off of those numbers either. It's hard to tell. We'll keep an eye on it. We're going to watch and see what happens here, but it'll be an interesting time because the summer cooling is here. If Pokemon makes enough of the 30th that demand drops for that product and prices fall, and the subsequent sets after the Rayquaza set come out are mid to low, I could see a pause or a slowdown in the market. Whether that gets shifted to something else is hard to see right now because we don't know what sets are coming out. But long and short of this ramble is, I think it's important that we take a beat and we're smart about what we're doing with the 30th here. A lot of sweet cards. When you find it, get your hands on it, open it, get the cards you want, sell the ones you don't, and we'll see how it plays out. It'll be interesting to see. We'll go into the holiday season. There should be plenty of product to go around, whether it's a lot of 30th for like Black Friday stuff. I don't know if I see that. Could be. But I'm sure there'll be plenty of Chaos Rising, Perfect Order, other things to rip if you're really into ripping product. And I think Pokemon is going to do a good job of tamping this demand a little bit here going into the holiday season. And then after the holiday season, it's TBD. Obviously, if some sets that come out draw more demand, we're not going anywhere. But if they are mid to lower sets with maybe more Pokemon that aren't highly sought after or popular, we could see a further pullback. Vintage is this whole other deal. I think money kind of flows around when modern gets too overpriced, too hyped, too tough to get a hold of. People realize that I'm spending $1,000 on a card that just came out when I could buy, two $500 cards that are older and lower pop for the same price. Is the art as good? That's kind of up to you, but it's going to be interesting where this demand goes because there's a lot of new people coming in. If they stay, which a lot of people did stay after the 25th, then those modern cards, they will still hold value. And I don't see them, I'm not a big doomsdayer on modern, cratering or doing anything like that, because the art is fantastic and people like the art, the cards, the colors, the texture. It all comes down to what they want to spend their money on. And, barring more economic turmoil outside of Pokemon's control, I don't see a huge drop, but I don't see a huge pump coming either. I feel like we got what's the saying? Buy the rumor, sell the news. We got the buy the rumor. A lot of money came in to, Prismatic, Destined Rivals. People are going to put a lot of money into the 30th. But once that money's gone, it's going to move around. It's going to find different places to go. And it'll be interesting to see how it shakes out. So I just wanted to make that video. I've seen a lot of doomsday stuff on my feed on YouTube, which I know is good for clicks and views, and it's not wrong. I mean, everyone has a stance on where they think this is going, and 50% will be right and 50% will be wrong. So we'll see. But that's all I really have for today. I just wanted to pop on, give my thoughts on that. I'm probably going to come up with a new series, hopefully, if I ever get around to making videos and doing this actually consistently, on where we can put some of our money, because while I am not fully an investor per se, it's nice having things that you like, cards that you like and appreciate in value, maintain or go up in value, right? No one wants to buy a really nice Gengar card that they have wanted and they really want for like $1,000 and see it go to 500. You paid $1,000, you lost $500 on it. Will it go up? Yeah, over time, most things end up going back to what you paid for it, but that's locking up $500 for an X amount of time that you don't have. Like for instance, with like the Lugia alt art, loved that card. I think I probably bought it at $300 some dollars a few months after release, thinking that I want the card. This might be as low as it gets. I'll take it. I'll be happy with it. Still am. But could I have gotten it for cheaper? Yeah. If I waited a little longer, I could have. And there might be instances like that. And it took all of 2 years probably to get back to what I paid for it. Still happy I have it, but I did lock up $150 that I could have used for other things, in a card that I was a little jump heavy to get into. But that's the game. And as long as you're collecting what you enjoy, what you want to look at, what you want to have, you're fine. I don't have any regrets about it. But everyone's got to do what they got to do, and there's space in here for everyone to seek out what they want to seek out. So I'm going to try to make more content here. We'll see how that goes, but just my thoughts on the 30th and the market right now. Let me know in the comments if this was interesting to you at all. If you don't want to see my mug at all, then I'll find other ways to do this. But yeah, so with that, thanks for listening and subscribing if you do. I hope to talk to you and maybe do some lives or something where we can have some conversations in the future. Thanks.